How did you get into this profession?
So to start off with, I always wanted to be a teacher. And when I moved down here to North Carolina, I went to UNC Charlotte for my undergrad, and I had gone through a lot of life changes. So I actually went to go see the counseling center at UNC Charlotte, and I realized how much they were really helpful. I went a couple times, and I decided to start into a major of psychology to get into that a little bit more. And then I decided I really like helping people and talking with them and working through some things that like I worked through. So being able to be in that seat and then flipping it and to be in the therapist seat was pretty cool.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So let's get started here. What type of bullying do you see most in the teenage group?
The type of bullying that I see most that comes in are usually through social media. But there's a lot of people that tend to use like Tumblr or Instagram and Snapchat the most are the ways that I see bullying happen. And for me, I know I had bullying in my past, and it was through MySpace.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like kind of where the social media started.
Yeah.
But now that there's so much, that's really the most I see. Not too often in schools, like in person, but it still happens too.
Yeah. People have a thing to hide behind when they're doing it on social media.
Exactly.
Okay, what type of kids do you see as bullies the most, and do they all have something in common?
So I was thinking about this, and I haven't really found a connection with bullies and how one might be related to another. I have noticed that they tend to be almost like the popular crowd, as you could say, and there's other bullies that I've noticed that aren't in the popular crowd, as you would say, and they still tend to be big bullies. And then there's the other ones who are in the popular crowd that actually defend those who are being bullied. So I haven't been able to find a connection. It just comes every shape, size, everything.
Mm-hmm. So there's no like bill that you could fit for me.
Not really. Can't really put them in a box.
That could be a good thing and a bad thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay, when another student sees a student getting bullied, what should they do?
So this one's always kind of tricky because you never know what's going to happen if you do tell somebody. We always hope that if they tell a teacher or a student administrator, their school counselor, that it'll go away, but you never know. I always recommend somebody to tell an adult. That's kind of where it starts. An adult that you're comfortable with, that you feel like you can trust, and maybe your parent, it could be a teacher. I know growing up, my swim coach was also a teacher at my school, and we would go to him before we went to our parents because he was kind of like our second dad, and he was in the school system, so he was able to help from the internal part too if we had any issues. So I always say a trusted adult doesn't have to be your parent. I would recommend your parent knowing and somebody in the school that can also help you and that can keep an eye out for you too.
Okay, that's cool. So if you're getting bullied, what should you do to make it stop?
Kind of, I would say at least tell somebody, because nothing can happen if nobody knows. So a way to make it stop is to tell somebody, and even taking like screenshots of it so there's proof. So that way you're not just going based on he said, she said, they said this. There's proof, because that's going to help you go a long way in proving that there was bullying and getting something accomplished for it to stop, because they know who to go to stop the bullying.
So like never go back and like say something.
I wouldn't recommend it. That's almost like adding fuel to the fire. By going back and saying something, then you could get in trouble for being a bully yourself. A lot of times people like to stick up for themselves, and I would say stand your ground, but don't make those threats back to them, because they can screenshot that and say that you were bullying them and twist it around too. So you never know what can happen.
Okay, why do you think bullying goes on more in the younger age groups, like teen and younger, than older, like adults?
Yeah, I found that to be really interesting, because I know my parents never had to deal with any of this, and if they did, it was very in person, and still bullying wasn't really a big topic in my parents' school years. And so, like I said, I dealt with bullying towards myself, and it was through the computer. And so I think a lot of it has to do with social media and what's gone on and how big everything has exploded into just being so online that they, like you said, they can hide behind their computers, they can hide behind their phone screens. There's no in-person altercations, it's always online.
What reasons do people have for bullying others?
I think what I've seen is it's been all across the board.
So many.
Yeah, so many reasons that it's so difficult to name specific ones, but a lot of them are like that they're different. There's a disability in there, either mental, physically, learning disability, anything that somebody can point out and pick on them about, and then take it to the extreme of bullying and continuing to pick on them about it. I've also seen like different opinions or beliefs, or even if you disagree with somebody, they tend to take that and run with it and bully that way. Or maybe you're living your life a different way than somebody else would live their life. So they tend to take that and run with it too. So there's no really set thing that people get bullied on. It's just something that's different than what the bullier feels like it is.
Yeah. Oh, that's kind of repeated. But why do some victims choose not to tell an adult when they're being bullied?
I think some victims choose not to tell an adult because there is that backlash of what could happen when that person who's the person bullying finds out or gets in trouble. So, and a lot of times they don't work alone. So a lot of times with bulliers, there's the main person, and then there could be a few other people that are helping find information or come up with other things to say. And so if you tell an adult, and then that main person who is doing the bullying is getting in trouble and got caught, then you may have those other ones who are in the background step up. And there could be threats that could be made, there could be different things said, and so I think a lot of times they find there could be an issue with other people stepping up and continuing the bullying.
It's just how it spreads.
Exactly, how it spreads. It doesn't have to be just one person. It's a group of people. I know when I was bullied in high school, it was a group of 4 or 5 people, and they used to be my friends. And so with that, I told my mom, but the main person, it stopped with them, but then the other ones, it kept going.
Yeah.
And so you had to kind of tackle all of them. It's almost like whack-a-mole. You get one, and then another one pops up, so you have to get that one. And luckily with social media and with on our phones, it's so quick and easy to take a screenshot of something to be able to prove it. So it makes it a little easier to help with catching a bully, but it also makes it easier to be the bully too.
It's a really good way to put it. Is there a way for someone to be a bully without realizing they're doing anything wrong?
This one's kind of tricky. I think it's possible, definitely, because I was just thinking about how some people grow up with seeing it in their family, and so they might not think it's wrong, or they don't see anything wrong with it. And then they come into school or they continue through life and they do the same thing that they grew up with, and it's not anything wrong to them because that's what they've known. And so they might not see that it's wrong, or they see that it's wrong, but that's sort of normal. And so it might not be as easily identified for them. We can see it, but for them they might not be able to. And with all different types of bullying, they may not think that one way is as bad as the other way, so they don't see anything wrong with it.
Do you ever think there's people that are just think they're playing around too?
Oh yeah.
Joking with someone?
Sarcasm?
Yeah.
That can be a big one. And then they take it to the extreme and they build on that. Or joking around, they're just picking, or I like you, so you're my friend, so I'm going to pick on you and be brutally honest.
Yeah.
Is what a lot of people I've come to see it be called, is that, oh, I'm just being honest. And then they take it and they just continue to be honest, and they're not very nice in giving their honest opinion about something. So I don't see it wrong because they're being honest and they're being a friend.
Yeah.
And it can be very mean and very tough to work through too.
Yeah, joking can be taken wrong.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.